Hello, my friends. My name is Ellen. Welcome back to my Southern Kitchen and the 8th episode of Ellen's Thanksgiving Series 2025. Last year, I shared with y'all some yeast rolls, and I'll post a link to that recipe down in the description box below. This year, we're going to make some homemade crescent rolls. And my friends, it is so simple and easy to make. The bomb.com delicious, and it is loaded with buttery goodness. Everybody's going to love and enjoy these, and once you taste these, you'll never buy the canned crescent rolls again. These are heavenly good. And I'll post a complete recipe along with the instructions down in the description box below. Also check out my previous video, Southern Mashed Potatoes. I'll post the link down in the description box below. So grab your rolling pin, your flour, and get your butter cubed up, sugar, because we're about to bake some crescent rolls magic in my Southern kitchen. Here we go. Alright, my friends, the first step we're going to do is prep up our dry ingredients. We need 2 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. So we're going to start with my 1 cup measurement. We're going to fluff it up. Using my butter knife, we're going to level it off like so. And voila, perfect cup. And we're going to pour it into my large bowl. We need 1 more cup. Just repeat the process. And another perfect cup. So that's our 2 cups. Now we need 3/4 cup. We're going to use a 1/2 cup. A perfect 1/2 cup. Now we need a 1/4 cup. And the perfect 1/4 cup. So that's our 2 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour. Into our flour, we're going to add in 3 tablespoons of white sugar. Next, we're going to add in 2 teaspoons, which is 1 envelope of instant dry yeast, and 1 1/4 teaspoons of table salt. Going to whisk these together until they're well incorporated. Now we're going to add in 1 cup, which is 2 sticks or 16 tablespoons of cold unsalted butter, and I cut them into cubes. And it's very important that your butter is super cold. That way we get fluffy, flaky crescent rolls. And using my pastry cutter, or you can use a fork, we're just going to cut the butter in until it reaches coarse crumbs, like the size of peas. Alright, my friends, this is what the flour mixture looks like. Nice coarse crumbs. That's exactly what we want. That looks great. Now I'm going to set this aside while we work on our wet ingredients. In my small bowl, I have a 1/4 cup of water, and into our water, we're going to add in a 1/2 cup of evaporated milk and 1 extra large egg, and mix all together until they're well blended. Alrighty, now we're going to pour the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients and mix all together until they're well combined and forms a ball. Oh, I just love the smell of yeast. Smells wonderful. Alright, my friends, I am through mixing up my dough. It formed into a nice ball. That looks great. Now we're going to cover it in plastic wrap. Now we are going to place the dough in the refrigerator and let it chill for 30 minutes. Alright, my friends, it's been 30 minutes, so now we're going to dust my work surface with flour. Add my chilled dough. Dust some flour onto my rolling pin, and we're going to roll it to a rough rectangle shape about a 1/2 inch thick. Alrighty, now we're going to fold the dough into thirds like a letter, and then turn 90 degrees and fold again. You want to do this about 3 to 5 times. You can use a rolling pin if you like, but I decided to do my hands. Your hands is a cook's best tool. All right, my friends, I am through folding up my dough, and you can see the specks of butter inside. So now I'm going to cover the dough again with plastic wrap. Going to place the dough back in the refrigerator and let it chill for another 30 minutes. All right, my friends, it's been 30 minutes. Now we're going to dust some flour onto my work surface. Going to take my chilled dough, add on a little flour, and we're going to cut them into 3 equal portions. I'm using my bench scraper, or you can use a knife. Going to flour my rolling pin. Going to roll it to a long rectangle, about 1/8 of an inch thick, 16-inch long, and 5 inches wide. All right, my friends, I am through rolling out my dough. We got a nice rectangle. Now it's time for the best part, cutting them into triangles. So we're going to use my pizza cutter, or you can use a knife. Now we're going to take a triangle starting at the wide end. And then tucking the pointy end under the roll, like so. Now that's a crescent roll. And just repeat the process. Alright, as soon as I get through with the rest of my rolls, I'll bring you back. Alright, my friends, I am through with the rest of my crescent rolls. And off camera, I place them on a 9 by 13 inch baking pan that I lined with parchment paper. And this recipe makes about 16 to 20 crescent rolls. So now we are going to cover them loosely with plastic wrap. We're going to place them in the warm place. I'm going to place mine in the oven with the pilot light on. Going to let them proof for 1 hour until they doubled in size. All right, my friends, our crescent rolls has risen. See how nice and big they are? Excellent. Now we are ready to put them in the oven. Oven's preheated to 400 degrees. Going to let them bake for 10 minutes. And I'll bring you back. My friends, I smell crescent rolls. I just taken them out of the oven. And it smells amazing up in this kitchen. I can smell the butter. And see how nice and golden brown they are? Now I know they have butter in them, but I like to brush them with more butter. Gonna brush them on top. Can't go wrong with extra butter, if I do say so myself. All right, my friends, there you have it. Homemade crescent rolls. Don't that look good? And off camera, I placed them into my bowl. So now I'm about to fix me up a plate and give it a taste. All right, my friends, I got my plate right here. And before we dig in, I want to show y'all how soft and pillowy it is. Oh yes, squishy like a pillow. And it's nice and golden brown on the bottom. So now I'm going to brush it with some more butter. I love lots of butter on my roll. Okie dokie, now it's time for the best part, the tasting. Here we go. And now broken in half, I want to show y'all the flaky layers. Beautiful. Look at that. Please have a bite. Flaky, tender, buttery. Oh, they just melt in your mouth. These crescent rolls are phenomenal, my friends. Please give this recipe a try. And you may want to make a double batch, because these will run out in 5 seconds. These are so addictive. This deserves another bite. Yum-o. Crescent Rolls-licious. My friends, many thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video recipe, please give it a thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And for more Southern magic in my kitchen, hit that subscribe button and click on the bell so that way you'll be notified when my new videos come out. Also, follow me on social media, Facebook, Ellen's Homemade Delights, and Instagram at Ellen Delights. And please send me an email, ellenshomemadedelights@gmail.com. I would love to see your beautiful creations with my recipes. And I'll see you next time. Let's eat. Much love and happy Thanksgiving.